Hey guys, I'm Vanessa. Welcome back to BB Kids. Last week we were learning about David and how he was brave, all the situations he went through. This week we're learning about Esther and how she was brave and how she applied that in all her situations. Can't wait to see you.
Hey guys, so today's memory verse is Isaiah 41:10. Are you ready? We're going to read it together. It says this: "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I love this verse because it reminds me that my God is always with me and he will provide the help that I need exactly when I need it. So don't be afraid.
Hey guys, today our big idea is that God can help us overcome difficulties. You may need to pass a test or have a friend that's bullying you and you just need to get through that, but God can help us go through struggles.
Today, as we're talking about how God helps us through difficult situations, we're going to be talking about a woman named Esther. I don't know if you've heard about her before, but she's a pretty big deal in the Old Testament. And there's an amazing story that goes along with her life. So let's read it together. It's in the book of Esther, and we're starting in chapter 2. There was a king named King Xerxes. And a little bit of background, he had a wife who he was not very happy with. And so he decided that they would have a beauty pageant in a way of a lot of other women who he could choose to be his new wife. So let's read it together. At that time, the king's personal attendants made a suggestion. They said, "King Xerxes, let a search be made for some beautiful young women. Appoint some officials in every territory of your kingdom and have them bring all of those beautiful people into the safest place. Put them in the special place where the young women stay, and then put Haggai in charge of them. Let beauty care be given to the new group of women, and then let the one who pleases you the most become your new queen." The king liked that advice, so he followed it. There was a Jew living in the safest place in Susa. He was from the tribe of Benjamin, and his name was Mordecai. Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah. He had brought her up in his own home. She didn't have a father or a mother, and she was also named Esther. She was a very beautiful woman. Mordecai had adopted her as his own daughter. He had done it when her father and mother passed away. After the king's order and law were announced, many young women were brought to the safest place in Susa, and Haggai was put in charge of them.
Who do you guys think the king is gonna pick?
Me?
Me?
Me.
I'm more beautiful than all of you.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I think we're all beautiful.
Me? Of course, some of us.
Well, I wish the best of luck to all of you.
Why did Esther wish me the best of luck? I wish her nothing but the worst. She's a terrible person, and she's not even pretty. Tomorrow, I'm gonna win the games, and I'm gonna win the king, not her.
Esther was also taken to the king's palace. She was put under the control of Haggai, who was in charge of the place where all of them stayed. Esther pleased him, and he showed her his favor. Right away, he provided her with her beauty care and special food. He appointed 7 female attendants to help her. They were chosen from the king's palace. He moved her and her attendants into the best part of the palace where all of the women were staying. Esther hadn't told anyone who her people were. She hadn't talked about her family. That's because Mordecai had told her not to. Mordecai tried to find out how Esther was going to get along. He wanted to know what was happening to her, so he walked back and forth near the courtyard by the place where all of the women were staying, and he did so every day. Here is how Esther would go to the king. She would be given anything she wanted from the palace where all of the women were staying. She could take it with her to the king's palace.
I'm gonna be queen because I can actually cook and do house chores, and I'm obviously beautiful, you know.
I'm gonna win this pageant because I'm absolutely gorgeous and I can dance.
I think I'm gonna win because I'm the most beautiful, and the beautiful people should win because if you're not beautiful, then who are you in this world?
The king liked Esther more than he liked any of the other women. She pleased him more than any of the other people who were there, so he put a royal crown on her head and made her the new queen. Then the king gave a big dinner. It was to honor Esther. All of his nobles and officials were invited, and he announced a holiday all through the territories he ruled over. He freely gave them many gifts in keeping with his royal wealth. All of the women were gathered together a second time, and at that time Mordecai was sitting at the palace gate. Esther had kept her family history a secret. She hadn't told anyone that she was a Jew. Mordecai had told her not to, and so she continued to follow his directions. And that's what she had always done when he was bringing her up. As we talk more about how God helps us through difficult situations, Esther was in a little bit of one herself. Esther was a Jew, and she hadn't revealed that to the king yet, and she knew that that could be quite dangerous. Next week, we're going to continue reading in this story, but for right now, we can be reminded, just like Esther was in a difficult situation, sometimes we find ourselves in a bit of a difficult situation too. But God always provides a way for us, and He cares for us, and He wants to make sure that we're going to be safe. So even though Esther had to be brave, and she had to go through a difficult situation, she knew that she could trust in God, and we're going to learn more about that later on.
Hey everybody, my name's Brielle. I used to go to a school where the kids weren't very nice to me and the teachers were really mean. It was really difficult for me, but God helped me to overcome my fear of going to that school. And He helped the kids and the teachers be nicer to me. We all go through difficulties sometimes, but God is always there to help us.
Today we learned all about Esther and her journey at the beauty pageant. We have a couple questions for you to go over with your parents, your friends, or even your siblings. So feel free to pause the video, and here are the questions.
Hi everyone, I used to be on the online, but now I'm at church because I really missed it. I'm now here in the camp.
Are you excited to be back?
Yes!
Well, we're so glad that you're able to join us again for another week of BP Kids Online. We're so glad that you were able to join us this weekend. Hopefully you'll be able to tune in over the next couple of weeks, especially next week as we continue our story about Esther. You're not going to want to miss the ending. It's a pretty cool story, so make sure you tune in with us then. Don't forget to get your parents to be checking their emails this week because we have some things coming up that we're really excited for you to know about, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time.